With so many of us locked indoors dealing with the crazy turn the world has taken, it's opened up an opportunity to revisit many of the titles on our Steam lists that, for one reason or another, we never really got around to playing. Pathfinder Kingmaker is one of those epic titles hailed as the return of classic isometric RPGs in the vein of the classics like Baldur's Gate, Neverwinter Nights, or my favorite, Icewind Dale, but with a focus on really bringing the tabletop rule set of Pathfinder to PC. One particular mod reignited my interest in this RPG, and now that we've started playing it, it's consumed myself and Tabby's playtime every night. It's even pulled me away from Bannerlord. It's changed the way that I see the game, and it's made it even more like the tabletop experience the base game set out to replicate. Hello ladies and gents, my name's Captain Jack. Let's talk a little bit about Pathfinder Kingmaker. What's the state of the game like now versus release when I first tried it? And the mods I'm currently using that I'm really enjoying that have improved the experience oh so much. Now when Pathfinder came out, I played it for about a day, and sad to say I shelved it. We played it a little bit on stream and that was it. Having enjoyed the tabletop gaming for a number of years now and GM'd my fair share of sessions with my friends, including a long-running Star Wars RPG that we've been playing a campaign on now for well over a year and a half, I just surprisingly couldn't get into this game due to its lack of explanation. I've never played Pathfinder at tabletop. I've never even looked at the rulebook. And you see, when this was released, it uses dice rolls for everything in the background, and there was almost no explanation on how they worked. Very few tooltips to explain what the different elements meant, what rolls got bonuses over others. Thankfully, since the release of Pathfinder, it's gotten a bunch of updates, a number of them addressing this issue. I can say now it's a far better experience than it was, but some things haven't changed, and you may still find yourself doing some Google searches to figure out why you need dexterity to hit with your wizard attacks. But there was also something else missing back then that really turned me off to the game. You see, tabletop combat is turn-based by its very nature. When combat starts, all the players roll their initiative, as does the GM for the enemies, to get a list of how combat is going to run, who gets to go first, who's the fastest, and all the way down the list. You go through every actor until you wind up at the very top, the start of the new round. Pathfinder, and this was a bizarre decision by the developers, a game that is focused on bringing Pathfinder Tabletop to life on PC, has real-time with pause combat. Exactly like Baldur's Gate. But nothing like sitting around a table with your friends. I mean, why? And the only reason that I can come up with is that they were a huge fan of that real-time with pause combat. So, what was the mod that brought me back? Well, it's the turn-based combat mod. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Alright, so I found myself in a battle with a large group of bandits. Now, for small fights that I know I can win, I'll just hit Alt-T and turn it into real-time mode and play it the normal way the game is played. But with the turn-based mod, I can actually sit down and fight. How many guys do we have here? Let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 bandits here ready to fight. So this is a decent fight, and I won't have a full party yet. I've only got 5 members myself, so we're relatively outnumbered. Now, with the turn-based mod, it's just so much nicer that you can actually get some tactics going. If you're a fan of something like Divinity Original Sin 1 and 2, you like this style of XCOM kind of figuring out your options and making turns, you're really gonna love this mod. It's what pulled me back in. All right, I've already gone with my Barbarian, so the only thing that she can do is that she can move around. Let's go ahead and end her turn. She's given this one bandit a good smack. Other bandit's moving in. It's like he failed to roll, and I can actually scroll down over here and say, okay, what did he roll? Well, he rolled the bandit attack on us, rolled a 14 on a 17 armor class for my Barbarian, so that was a miss. Got a little bit of damage on our tank so far, because they did manage to hit him. All right, so who's up? My wizard is up. Now, I know they've got a lot of enemies over here, so because it's paused, and this is the best thing, if you're gonna play a wizard or a caster, we can sit here and go, all right, what can we do? Well, I could pause this in normal combat, but what I can't do is keep everyone from moving. As a caster, because it's not proper turn-based in the base game, if I want to, say, cast an AoE spell, like I want to cast, let's say I want to cast, and it's actually not a bad idea, let's cast Scare, and I want to choose what area it casts on. If this was real-time with pause, as soon as I unpause after I click this guy as my target, I'm going to use him as my target, this is an AoE fear spell, it'll actually just cast it with everybody not moving. like you're sitting at a table choosing where your AoE is going to go. Instead of what the real-time combat looks like, where everybody's running around all around each other trying to pathfind, you don't have any real control. So it really turns into more of a tactics game. Now, one of the mods that I'm going to try with this is the flanking mod. Flanking, I think it's improved, or flanking 2 mod. It's like the sequel to the flanking mod that may make this a bit more interesting. But let's see. We can actually look down here and see how many failed. We had a couple succeeded and a couple failed. Everybody is at least going to be shaken, which is a stat effect. Now, that's pretty much going to be my team. What I'm going to do is I'm going to fall back behind the barbarian and my tank. And you can see by the white circle, this is the range that I can move. Now, if I hadn't attacked, I could do 2 moves between the individual circles, and I'll show that in the next turn. So let's go ahead and end that. There you go. You can see I've got 2 circles here. One of them, if we run all the way out to, say, she's got a crossbow. So let's move her out to here. That's the first one. And now she can still perform her action, or I can move again, use up my action to get a little bit more distance to do a dash. I think we're gonna sit right there though, and let's inspire competence in our team. She's gonna play a little bit of music as the bard member of the party, and that's gonna be it. And I can take the moment if I'd like and see, what does this do? Well, this is how it affects your rolls. It'll get you a +2 competence bonus on all skill checks. And it takes a little while figuring this out if you've never played Pathfinder. I'm still learning myself. All right, we've got my my brand new character, Tristan here. How about we pop why don't we do a minor wounds, cure minor wounds, and just keep the tank buffed up there. Go ahead and have that. A little bit of healing. It's not a whole lot, only healed for 7, but whatever. And let's move you as well back here. My back line of the party is just nothing but crossbows because I thought it'd be funny. It's actually worked out pretty well. All right, there's 2 shots. Looks like that's a miss. Looks like that's a miss. That's a miss. Uh-oh. That one's feared, so he's running off and has passed off the owlbear that's over there. But just this simple system. There's a few more things that you can do here. So let's see here. Our tank is up. Actually, no, our barbarian is up. Now, you've got a couple extra buttons. The 3 icons, you have your action to attack. You can still move, and you can do something like in your backpack. You could pull out a potion and then use it again to drink. But what we're going to do is 5-foot step to show what this is. So in Pathfinder, you can move around in a 5-foot circle around a target, right? So this is one of the other mods that I've got installed so I can rotate the camera. Highly recommend this one. All these links will be in the description below. There are a lot of areas in Pathfinder, even how early I am in the game, where this has been really useful to see what the heck is going on. You can't normally do this in the game without a mod. How ridiculous is that? All right, so what we're going to want to do is I think we're going to want to do a 5-foot step. And I want to walk around this way because I want to be on the right hand of this target. And I won't bring on any opportunity attacks. So there we go. Swack. Oh, crit with a 28 damage. Nice. And yeah, feel pretty good about that. Gonna end my turn right there with her. Bandit's turn. Somehow that bandit managed to roll so high he got through Valerie's defense. What did you roll on that attack? Good grief. Bandit attacks you for 11. Also rolled high on his damage roll. But you can see everything that's affecting the character's rolls as you can figure it out. Like they've got fear, so they've got -2 on their rolls. But they've got a morale bonus, on and on and on. All right, so it's up my turn again as the wizard. Let's do a little bit of a classic wizardiness. Let's throw out some magic missile onto this guy. Also, fair warning, if you're going to play a wizard in this, they don't come into their own until about level 4-ish, I've found. So, don't get disheartened, stick with it. And what else do I want to do? I think I'm going to go ahead and use a potion. I'm going to bring a potion into my backpack. So I have that on the ready. Am I wounded yet? Not wounded yet. And I do want to stick between them, so that'll be it for that turn. Lindsay, go ahead and give a shot. Let's start doing some damage to the ones that are running away. There is a negative effect, it seems, when you've got people in combat with friendlies. If you're firing at stuff in combat with a crossbow or a bow, you get a negative penalty to firing into battle. So I always try to fire at the ones that aren't into battle. But, all right, he's feared and running away from us. You better run. Ooh, owlbear might get another hit. Our tank is just getting wrecked right now. We've got a couple friendly bandits due to some charm rolls that I managed to pull off earlier. All right, you're really hurt. So let's pop something off of our belt. Why not a health potion? There we go. And notice that now we've only got one circle to run around in. So you can kind of sacrifice your movement to use an action, an item off your belt, it seems, unless it seems to be an attack object. Now remember, the game doesn't explain any of that to you. You just kind of figure it out as you go. But I can still do an attack as long as I don't move. And I think we're gonna go ahead and do a smackdown. Cool, cool beans. So you can see how this mod changes how you play. Now, I'm about to lose this battle because I'm gonna show you that if you just quick click Alt-T, you can go right back into real-time mode, and everybody's gonna just start swinging at each other and shooting away, and this is totally a way to play. Let's go ahead and get the archers firing back here. Let's move you up. Let's pop. I'm gonna pause real quick. It gets a little bit more chaotic. Pop a heal. I may lose it, I may not, actually, depending on who they keep attacking. For some reason, they're not taking down our tank, or they're just rolling really poorly. So there was an area, I'm just gonna let this kind of play out, let the AI do its thing. There was an area underground with a bunch of centipedes, and the first 2 battles with the centipedes were interesting. The next 5 were fairly boring, and I knew I was going to win. So playing in turn-based, unnecessary. So I'd flick it off and I'd play it in real time. And then when the battles got really hairy and I wanted to get super tactical, Alt-T, and boom, you're right back into turn-based mode. And it'll say on the top, you've activated turn-based mode. The mod has a ton of options for customization that you can play around with. I'm playing it right out of the box, and it's great. It's freaking glorious. I love it so much.
As it should be.
You can right-click to choose what direction you're focused on, by the way, so there you go. One of the other enhancements that have changed since that first day that I got to play, if I head into the inn here, one of the expansion packs allows you, by talking to an elf at the bar, and you'll recognize this very early on in the game, you'll get to this bar. It's fairly early on. It's kind of a hub space that you'll hang out at quite a bit. You can come in here and you can use them to retrain your characters. You can choose any character you want and you'll be able to respec them. Now this is incredibly useful, and before I get a bunch of comments saying, oh, well, that's not how tabletop works. Well, for tabletop, you normally have the rule book sitting next to you that you can quick reference to figure out how things work and how those feats work. In this, there are a lot of feats that seem to be mostly completely useless, and you don't know that until you get farther into the game and realize they don't work the way that you thought they did, or the game doesn't have a story that focuses on some of those things you get bonuses toward. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna dive into my character, Sebastian here, the wizard, and say I wanna remake my character and may give him a new look and maybe base him off the portrait. Now, the other mod that I'm using is a massive portrait overhaul mod. Now, in the base game, there's only about 24 or so portraits in here, but I've got the Heroes of the Stolen Lands mod installed, and it is hundreds of images of all kinds of characters. And if you're like me, I will flick through here and see all these different characters and then get inspired by one of the images. Some of these you may recognize, by the way. I definitely recognize that one from different like IPs and stuff. But I like to scroll through and find one that I really dig and be like, you know what, that's the perfect sorcerer character, or maybe I want to get some kind of paladin character going on. There's some really good paladin ones in here that can alight the imagination to build a character. And the one thing that Kingmaker has is an amazing character creator. There's just so much stuff here. And one of the expansions added in the tieflings, so you can really get kind of crazy with your characters if you want to make all the tons of classes. To the point where I haven't even gone in to try, and y'all know how I love to mod my games, try some of the expansion-like mods that just increase the number of classes and feats and whatnot that you can pick up. So tons of stuff that you can come up with. But the real big deal here is that you're able to do this. Let me go ahead and cancel. From early on in the game, right here, from 8 Eyes. You just go and talk to them now. So if you make a mistake with your character creation, if stuff doesn't work the way you thought it did, unlike last time where you had it when it first came out, when you just had to live with it, now you can, well, you can do a little respec. One quick warning, it would seem, you go back in here, great, let's get started, that when you do your companions, when you want to rework them, they don't let you start from the beginning. You can't change those first couple levels. How you got them from the day they arrived, that's where their skills are at, and you can respec anything from that point. So fighter gonna be a fighter, bard gonna be a bard. You're not gonna change that stuff, except your character, where you can start completely from scratch. You can also, and don't be me, the little piece of advice, You can also make companions here. And if you happen to make certain decisions early game, that means that you don't have a cleric for the first like 6 hours of the game. Instead of suffering, maybe hire on a mercenary and make him custom yourself from 8 Eyes, from the Adventurer Society. That's what it's there, though. That's what it's there for. So, you know, heads up, that's an option that you can totally rock. So between that, camera rotation, which is a huge deal to me. Like, look at this. You wouldn't normally be able to do this, and everything is modeled. I haven't seen any, like, dead space or weird texture bugs or anything. Every one of the caves seem to be working so far. It's great. You can see right what's going on in the battle, so you can make those tactical decisions. And the biggest one, the turn-based mod. That mod author, thank you so much for building this. You've added so many hours of gameplay to this that I probably wouldn't even have revisited had you not placed that in here. It's fantastic. Well, I hope if you're looking and thinking about getting back into Pathfinder, it's sitting in your Steam library. Hopefully this video has helped push you over the edge to give it another try. Just remember, you're a party, a band of adventurers. The game is going to be hard and there's a lot to learn about. Don't be afraid to leave a battle and go find something else to do and come back when your party is stronger. Don't be afraid to go back and get gear and come back to that fight when your party is stronger with better spells to equip to actually deal with the situation. That's something that I had to learn the hard way in this particular RPG. So, good luck on your adventures. I hope you make it through. I'll see you all next time. Stay safe, everybody.